Thank you so much. So welcome to today's session. So we are looking at a very important topic called what here? Emerging issues in finance. Emerging issues in finance. What issues are we seeing, ladies and gentlemen, that are coming up? First of all, before I share the handout, I would just want to discuss these issues broadly, and then we shall be able to get a handout. There is nothing like writing notes here because now you'll be able to have a handout that I share here on the screen. And then, of course, in this case here, give you the handout on WhatsApp. Now, when we talk about emerging issues, this is a topic that you can't miss questions from. Questions in this case here that could even give you like 25 to 30% in your AFM, in your financial management exams. So basically, we are looking at things like, if you look at, for example, how African governments have been borrowing, most of these African states, we've been borrowing from the international community using the Eurobonds. Eurobonds, these are, of course, those vehicles that you could make use of, in this case here, to get international loans. So if it's Kenya, we are able to get a dollar-denominated loan. The Eurobonds that we have borrowed using, or rather we have borrowed in the past, we borrowed in this case here from Germany, we borrowed in this case here from Britain, we borrowed from the US. Now you see, Eurobonds have been with us for quite a long time. Right now we have got other markets that are emerging which are willing in this case here to give us money. For example, now we have these Arabic nations. We have these Muslim nations here that want to give us money. But you see them, they can't give us loans using Eurobonds model. Then they have to give us loans using instruments that are Islamic compliant, Sharia compliant. You know, Eurobonds, of course, those guys charge what we call interest. To an Islam, interest is haram. So in this case here, among us, those emerging issues that we shall be discussing here are these Muslim-based financial instruments that you could use to borrow money from nations outside there, which in this case here, at the end of the day, you will not return that money with interest on top because interest is haram. And the Islam will track down, whenever they give you money, these guys will track down how their money goes, where their money goes to the last coin. So in this case here, there must be what we call specificness. Specific. You must tell them the specific uses of their money. So remember, most of the money that we are getting ourselves, in this case here, paying, these Eurobonds we are paying here, for sure, of course, there is some work which was done. We also have to be fair to these previous governments. There is some work that was done, but about 50% cannot be accounted for. If it was, for example, these Muslim bonds that were issued there, then automatically we would have known where each shilling in this case here went to. Because under Muslim bonds, we must be very, very specific. These guys can't give you their money without knowing where you are taking their money to. All right? You can't, for example, borrow their money and then you start, in this case, investing in an asset, which, for example, will be used as what here, like a bar. That's against Muslim. So they really would want to know, fine, you're borrowing $10 million US. You're going to do an apartment. If you're going to do an apartment, these 10 million that I'm giving you, will it be going to second floor, third floor? I mean, they really want detailed explanations. And that is why you realize most of their nations in this case here, these people, the Islam, they really flourish. Look at, for example, like now Dubai, of course, majorly is Islam, all right? I mean, that's a great nation if you've ever been there. There is a lot of order there. All right. All right. Great. So I can see what somebody is inboxing me here. Of course, they have got excesses as well. We're not saying that they are like 100% good. No. Just like, for example, in Christians, we have the Mungikis, isn't it? They also have their own excesses. All right. But basically, in terms of financial management, those guys are doing much better than Christians in terms of financial management. They're doing much better than what here Christians. Their model is much better. It's not capitalism per se. You know, ours is really very capitalistic here. You'll get somebody giving you 1 million Kenya shillings, and then even per month, they ask for 20%. The Shylocks. So in this case here, them they are sleeping, but money is working for them. Muslim does not believe in money working alone. You know, they believe in sweating, working, all right? So in this case, should they advance you money? Are you going to return like I mean, if, for example, they give you $1 million, will you return $1 million exactly? No. We shall be able to discuss. We shall be able to we shall be able to discuss like what kind of models they have. Like now we have what we call profit sharing models. We'll be able to discuss that. So that's an emerging area. Now, before you remember very well, this year, Rotich, who was fired during Uhuru's tenure, he had raised this concept of sukuk bonds. That now we are getting to the West, all the time we are borrowing using Euro bonds. He said, no, let's in this case here raise money using what we call the sukuk bonds. S-U-K-U-K. S-U-K-U-K. Thank you very much, Patrick. Please keep those points coming. Keep those points coming. Keep those points coming. Great. So sukuk bonds are basically Muslim bonds. Now people are looking at those particular avenues to borrow strictly because of many things. And amongst the biggest advantage that we have for these sukuk bonds is the traceability of the funds. When you tell them that I'm borrowing this money to go and build express highway, then they have to ensure that it is express highway. If it's Muslim bonds, even these other bonds, in this case, you can come and say, for example, we can do what they are calling here. We can do what they are calling here budgeted corruption. But I'm giving you this money, and then you give me like a kickback. Like what percentage here? Like 10%. In Muslim bonds, nothing like that. Nothing like that. So that's one of those key emerging areas of finance that I would want us to look at tonight. Number two, we have what we call crowdfunding. Crowdfunding. In your syllabus, for some reason, they called it crowdfunding, C-L-O-U-D. It's supposed to be C-R-O-W-D, crowdfunding. So is there anybody who could be knowing? Anybody who could be knowing? Yeah, anybody who could be knowing, for example, any crowd-based funding systems that we have, which you can use to raise money from the people outside here, Anybody who could be knowing? Yeah, like 𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐷. Thank you very much, Isaboke. 𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐷 is a crowdfunding platform. Some have not heard of it, but I think it could be. Because you see, if it's crowdfunding platform, it must be online. Crowdfunding must be online. It will be able to allow you to get funds from a bigger population. From a bigger population. Where, for example, you just come and tell them that, you know what, now we want to list RCM at the stock exchange. So to list RCM at the stock exchange, of course, being a very new company, we may not be able to get these investors in Kenya coming in to like our story of RCM being an online college. All right. So in this case here, we can easily go, for example, to Indiegogo. That is Indiegogo. Very, very popular. Very, very popular. We have the Kickstarter. You can get a Kickstart for your business. Kickstarter is a very, very huge crowdfunding platform that we have outside here. So go to Kickstarter, do a very good story about how we are able to support over 2,000 students who are spread across East Africa. I mean, that's a story that can sell. But for example, amongst the people that we're able to support are young mothers. Like now in this particular room, I'm so sure there is a young mother who has a baby of say 3 months or even 4 months at home. And this lady can only attend this kind of classes. So courtesy of what RCM. You know, when you're going to crowdfunding platforms, you must be having appealing stories. Otherwise, there is nobody who will be able to invest in you. So you give them very good stories, and then you'll be able to tell them that, hey, I need either a donation or an equity-based finance. So you tell them, I mean, if you feel to support, please click here. They said like 10 bob. Look at, for example, these young men. Great. I like what Alan is telling us there. Look at, for example, these young men that we have seen outside here who have been killed. And some of them are in hospital because of the mayhem that we have in the country. In a span of 2 days, using these platforms, online platforms like the Paybill, whatever, they were able to raise over 20 million Kenya shillings. And imagine, I mean, I'm so sure no one was giving like 1,000. Many people in this case here were throwing in like say 20 bob, 50 bob, 100 bob. So you can imagine in this case here how these crowdfunding platforms then operate. It could look something small to you, but cumulatively we are able to put in lots of money, lots of money. Gonga Ball, I can see you. Great, great. This is a man from Southern Sudan. When we shall be able to write our crowdfunding story, we should also be able to, I mean, say that we are able to support people from even Southern Sudan, Uganda, Tanzania here. Because you must always have a very good story with even photos of the kind of support. You'll get companies saying that, you know what, we are a green company. We are a green company. Green meaning what here? That we are very good in terms of what you're supporting our environment. We have reduced our carbon footprint. The carbon dioxide in this case here being emitted to the air outside here, I mean, is so low, and you're supporting. You need very good stories for you to be able to raise money using this crowdfunding. So crowdfunding, you could use this crowdfunding to raise, in this case here, money through donations, where people give you money expecting no return at all. They would only want to hear good stories about you in the future. And the moment you keep on giving them good stories in the future in terms of your performance, then they'll keep on, in this case here, donating more to you. They can give you, in this case here, what we call equity capital. So they transfer this small money, you tell them that my share is going for 5 more. So of course, that's the bring in. Then you have, in this case here, equity capital. You give them what here? Shares in your company. They can as well give you debt that you'll be able to return much later. Once in this case here, you do what you, but remember, I've seen so many ventures on this in 𝐂𝐥𝐥𝐤𝐥𝐿 being advertised very well, but at the end of the day, they are not able to get any funds. Could we be having any student here who has been able to put any appeal in these crowdfunding platforms and they got money for business? Not money for sickness. I know also can use crowdfunding to raise money for sickness. But is there anybody who has ever been able to raise any money using these crowdfunding techniques here to get money for business? Anybody? You guys are finance professionals. I mean, I expect you guys to have tried some of these models here. You can even Google right now if you are, I mean, like I can see Maureen has tried it. Maureen, which platform did you use? And were you successful? And if you don't mind, are you able to tell us like how much you raised? I mean, in Kenya, you've seen like some of the IT firms getting billions. I handled that question of crowdfunding during intermediate exam. You can see it came there. It came there. Like Kickstarter. Kickstarter, if you have a very good story, then you will be able. No, so tell pay bill to pay teachers by opposition. Sutera seems to be a controversial guy. That one failed. That one failed. And you know that one is not even something that you can call what here. It's not something you can call, in this case here, crowdfunding platform. Crowdfunding platform, as this guy has told us, they're very expensive. Very expensive. The platform in this case here will end up taking a minimum of 40%. Will end up taking a minimum of 40%. A minimum of 40%. Will end up taking a minimum of 40%. That is why you will get, for example, this was it Shira's grandmother with this other young man. But people have raised money using mchanga, and the grandmother says, I mean, what was contributed in this case here is what here, not what I expected. At times, it's because of these crowdfunding high fees. The fees is very, very high. I can see Baba T, great. Yeah, so you get like people contributed 8 million, but maybe this guy got what here 60% because the platform is advertising you. In this case here, they are able to take lots of money. That's one of the disadvantages here. Kenya for Kenya initiative. I wanted to hear from this lady called Maureen. Which model? Or Kenya initiative? No. I handled that question of crowdfunding during. Okay, great. You will get it as well in AFM. In AFM. Okay. Yeah, like the GoMe Fund. GoMe Fund is also a very good platform here, but very expensive. Very expensive. GoFundMe, actually, yeah, GoFundMe. GoFundMe. I've never heard of Funda. You know, every time we are also learning. I've never heard of them. I've never heard of them. Yeah, 𝐂𝐶𝐤𝐴, I don't know whether it's a crowdfunding model they use. I don't know, is it mchanga? Or is it, if it's the normal one where they create a pay bill, really, you can't call that one a strong crowdfunding. You know, they are known, they're registered. Those crowdfunding models, platforms are registered. They're not very many, they could be like 10. It could be like 10. Hizi zingine ni crowdfunding, like at the end of the day, they are not what here registered. They're not registered. Like I can see Patreon. Great, you guys seem to be very exposed. So crowdfunding, very, very important. That one is an area that I would want you guys always to be thinking about for your organizations. It's an emerging area because there are many people who are willing to give you money outside here, so long as they've got a good story. So long as they've got a good story. How about, for example, this TikTok where people throw a lion to you? Will you call that one, in this case here, a crowdfunding? Of course, you're getting money from the crowd. And of course, in this case here, TikTok is taking like 50% of that money, isn't it? That they give you the difference. But it's not a registered crowdfunding platform. Don't quote it in an exam. Don't quote it in an exam. In an exam, I would want you guys to quote like the GoFundMe. And then I would want you to quote things like Kickstarter. Kickstarter is a very good crowdfunding platform. Crowdfunding platform. Great. Now, which other area do we have that is emerging? We have, ladies and gentlemen, what we call the digital assets, the digital currencies. Digital currencies, like which ones? Do you know them? Is there somebody who knows some examples of digital currencies? That's, I mean, as a finance manager, I would be interested in knowing. These are disruptive technologies. These are disruptive technologies. If we don't get to know them as finance managers, very soon you'll hear the shilling is going down because now we have these virtual currencies. In Kenya, remember, like now I can see people are quoting there the Bitcoin. Yeah, the world coin. So these guys walikuja Kenya wakadunga macho na ndio kudunga batu walikuwa wanamulika macho. Sasa wale wamemulika macho akapata 7,000. Akauliza sasa tena mkuje mumulike kitu kingine jamani, because you want money. All right. Yeah. World coin. Great. I'm told they're coming back. They're coming back. Yeah, world coin. I'm told they're coming back. Great. So these cryptocurrencies examples are like Bitcoins. So we have Bitcoins. We have Ethereum like that. So Bitcoins, Ethereum, Ripple, we have the Litecoin. Yeah, Ripple, we have the Litecoin. What else? Litecoin, yes. What else? Now, if I may ask, could we be having anybody amongst ourselves? I don't have them. But could we be having anybody amongst ourselves here who has any form of a cryptocurrency? Those are the cryptocurrencies, the digital currencies, the virtual currencies. Do we have anybody who has any form? Because I know Bitcoin right now would be very expensive. Is there anybody who has? I mean, you guys should start purchasing some of these small things. Of course, I know that they are really surrounded now by conmen, very many conmen. All right. But again, you know, a world of finance is about risking. Get to risk something small, which you can afford to lose for purpose of learning, you know, Rhodium has 0.17 Bitcoins. You must be a rich man. That's over 10%. That means in this case, you have about 600. Most of them are pyramid schemes. Binance, oh, great. At least you know something about Binance. Great. I don't trust in a dealer. And I know why. Hassan doesn't trust them. I know why. And I can't blame you, Hassan. I can't blame you, Hassan. I can't blame you. So then, what are the key characteristics of these cryptocurrencies? Give me 3 characteristics of cryptocurrencies. Is there somebody who can give me any 3 characteristics of cryptocurrencies? What do you know about them? any three characteristics of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies, of course, ladies and gentlemen, these are who? These are who? The digital currencies. Those currencies that you need a digital wallet. A digital wallet. A digital wallet. Let me give you the first one to get the ball rolling. Volatility. Volatility. You'll hear that today Bitcoin is 6 million. Tomorrow, you hear that it is exactly what your Kenya shillings two like this. That's why you get somebody, in this case, in town, I mean, somebody becomes crazy, you know, simply because this thing like the Aviator are taken them really high. And now they're down here. At times, even those websites even close and the owners run away, like the Binance or something. All right. So they are highly volatile, highly volatile, highly volatile, highly volatile. Great, great, great. Thank you very much. I can see very good, very good, very good, very good. Of course, the other characteristic, like John is telling us, although he's not very sure, they are virtual. They are virtual. We talk of electronic wallets. Electronic wallets. Very risky volatility. They are very risky. Very risky. High risks. I like that. Dan Wangoi. I mean, Dan, this is a very good point. How did you know about this? Transparency. You know, for example, if we would want to kill corruption in these countries here, let's get to straight away use these virtual virtual platforms. Under the virtual platforms, and I was giving my physical students this example. You guys, do you know how this shared Excel works? The shared Google documents, like the shared Excel. The shared Excel. So the shared Excel, basically I'll do an Excel, right? And then of course I'll give you like I will be able to tag you around. When I tag you around, you guys will be able to meet on the same Excel sheet and get to see what is really happening there. So when we, for example, we're discussing like a balance sheet. So we come and say in this balance sheet, the non-current assets, property, plant, and equipment, we agree all of us, it is 10,000. We go in this case to something here. So remember now all of us are really focusing there. And once in this case here, we reach a consensus that this is the correct balance sheet, you see in the future, there is nobody who will come to make changes. After we reach the consensus that this is the correct, but we can't even close it up. Let's close it up. So once we close it up, there will be no changes. But you see, everybody in the community knows what happens, knows what happened there. So the same case with this crypto, they work on what we call blockchain technology. And one of the characteristics of blockchain is that it is very transparent. It has got the feature of see me through. You are able to see, especially the community around there. You are able to see like who owns what, like that. All right. I like this concept of what your transparency. So like now the Bitcoins, I mean, you are able to see the system, how it moves. People cannot cheat you easily. People can't cheat you easily. Of course, we have got people who come up with dummy cryptocurrencies websites, and then they start cheating people that they are dealing with crypto. But the real one, I mean, you'll not be cheated. You'll be able to see how the coins in this case here move. Who was the original miner? It has been sold in this case here to these other guys how many times like that? It has moved from Joshua. It went straight away to Ahmed Abdikani. It went in this case here to maybe Joyce, etc. So you're able to know, you're able to track the transactions there. So transparency is key. Another one that these guys are very good at is the concept of decentralization. Decentralization. Just like the Gen Z, that they don't have a leader. We don't have a leader. So in this case here, that so long as it's a blockchain, we have what we call blocks. So we have a new person who has come to procure this. This person is called Bureni. So once Bureni procures, for example, a Bitcoin, we are able to create his block. And all the members in the community shows that we will be able to see that Bureni has a block. Bureni is a new entrant. And his block will be connected with the other block. So we are able to talk to each other. We are able to talk to each other like that. So the moment you're able to talk to each other, there is no like a government that will come and start in this case here like oversighting on top. No. the system is really decentralized. We call them the distributed ledger systems. The distributed ledger systems here. So in this case here, ledger is thrown there like that, like that. I like that. I mean, we have so many good points here. So many, yeah, the concept of what here, anonymous, like where we began. Like if it's Bitcoin, you are only told that they, I mean, came up from somebody in Japan. You don't even know, I mean, the exact, you can't in this case know the exact origin, right? The concept of what it is, nobody owns like the network. Yeah, security, especially in this case here, if they're operating on a genuine blockchain, the genuine blockchain, then the security is very, very good. The security is very, very good. You know, like, for example, when we have this Bitcoin moving from this block represents, for example, Soter, to this other block, in this case here, which is owned by Eunice Mwaka. When this coin is moving from this Soter's block to this other block owned by Eunice, in between here, nobody can hack. Nobody can hack. It uses what we call the concept of what here, encryption. Encryption. So remember, like an encrypted SMS. This encrypted SMS, if, for example, today I was to write a message here to this ninja, let me see this ninja here, this ninja called Irene Sikuku. So I write to Irene Sikuku, Irene, how are you today? You see, this message will only make sense when it's on my phone here and when it is on Irene's phone. In between here, I mean, it can't be read. It's called encryption. Encrypted security systems here. All right. So in between, even if you intercept the language which you'll be able to get this message at in between here, itakuwa jargon, like China or whatever. It's only the sender and the receiver who will be able to decipher the meaning of what here, that message, the meaning of that message here. It's called an encryption. Bitcoins, I mean, they work on this encrypted. That's why the security is very, very high. That's why the security is very, very high. So this is an emerging issue, and all of us really need to understand how these blockchains work, how these cryptocurrencies work. They are very, very popular in our exams. You'll be able to see them in your past papers. You shall be able to see them. You shall be able to see them. Oh, Aviator, near Coleman. But you see now, as you are a finance teacher, we have to mention some of these things. We have to mention them as a volume. Is there a problem? No, my volume is very okay. Operates on blockchain technology, digital nature, fast and low cost of transaction. Yeah, the value is determined by the market forces, the demand. Yeah, it can't be deleted. Can't be deleted. Actually, talk of immutability. Immutable. Let me just write this name here. Immutable. The transactions over there, they are immutable. You are able to trace all the movements there. You are able, so long as you have, it's dealt with a community. It dealt with the community. This community, so long as you have, it's either public or private. So if it's private, of course, it's you alone. But the moment you start moving them like you want to sell, then you must make them public. Once you make them public, they start moving around, then everybody will be able to see. Because it works on this kind of a community approval system like that. Everybody is able to see. If you look at this developed, no, if I go to that, some time back here, around 2013, 2014, thereabout, we had some hotels in Kenya here that had started accepting Bitcoins. I mean, even their menu would see all over, they were saying we accept Bitcoins, we accept Ethereum. Is there anybody who is as old enough who may have seen that? There were some restaurants in town, which had even some big businesses in town, which had started accepting Bitcoins. And then all of a sudden from nowhere, those menus were pulled down. People said, now we don't want this, right? Because of the risk of fraud. The risk of fraud in this case here is very, very high. And why is that the case? It's because 99.9% of the websites you see online that would want to invest in, they are, of course, being handled by what here? By corrupt people. Otherwise, Bitcoin, if you look at, for example, Tesla in America, Tesla now is accepting Bitcoin 100%. Visa cards, if you are quite travel here, Visa cards now have started integrating these Bitcoins and the other forms of what crypto into them. So it may not be 5 years, 10 years from today, but I can assure you, these things will come to take over the economy. They'll be taking over the economy. All right. So at least you guys have been able to give me what the examiner wants about those. And of course, you must be remembering some examples like the Litecoin, like the Ethereum, like in this case, the Bitcoin. All right. Now, I've spoken about blockchain. It's also something that is quite emerging. Is there someone who can give me, a background on this blockchain technology? Somebody do your research there very fast. Give me a background of the blockchain technology and how basically it works. Who will be able to give us the very best answer here? Who will be able to give us the very best response? Blockchain technology. Don't write any notes. I'll give you a handout. Blockchain technology. Don't write any notes. Yeah, like the altcoin. Those are alternative coins. Altcoin now takes care of all the other coins which are not Bitcoin. They are not Ethereums. They are not Litecoins. All the others, like the WorldCoin, etc., they have been summed together as alternative coins. And Jay is giving me something very important there about blockchain technology. They're decentralized and distributed ledger technology. I would want you to go and even watch YouTube videos on this blockchain technology. Guys are not talking to me. Blockchain technology. I've spoken most of the things. Great. So I can see here from Ali Mohammed, blockchain technology is an advanced database mechanism that allows transparent information sharing. Just a minute. Information sharing within a business network. A blockchain database stores data in blocks. Blocks that are done what? That are linked together in a chain. So a block of Joshua Aura, a block of Geoffrey. We have Kisaka here. All those blocks, if you're able to do business together, then automatically we must be linked up. All right. Then I'm told here by Ndares, blockchain technology initially conceptualized by an individual or a group known as Satoshi Nakamoto was introduced in 2008 through white paper titled Bitcoin. Just a moment. That has been overtaken now. Blockchain technology provides a way to create a secure, I like that, secure, transparent, and decentralized system for recording transactions, which can be applied to various fields beyond just cryptocurrencies, such as supply chain management, voting systems, and of course, many more areas. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk of blockchain technology, don't forget the concept of what is security. It's a secure system. It's electronic, of course, which in this case here works on various blocks being created for the participants. And these blocks, ladies and gentlemen, they're of course distributed. Like now, I'm bringing the class to your sitting room. somebody in this case here could be watching this Mwalimu from their bedroom. That's how blockchain works. We are able to bring your wallets to your phones, all right? But now in a very secure way, very transparent way, you are able to monitor the transactions, etc. When we talk of, for example, blockchain being used in, like you can see what Musabi is telling us. Each blockchain contains transaction information and a unique code known as a hash. And the unique code known as this hash. So remember how this hash works. See, for example, you have ever bought land of late in Nairobi. Nowadays in Nairobi, how are we buying land? Electronically. All right. So in this case here, we have what we call Ardhi Sasa. So under Ardhi Sasa, like the other day, I was inheriting something from my old man. So in this case here, the old man will get like, a code on his phone. He must authenticate that this code is correct. So in this case here, we have the code, this is correct. All right. And then I come on this other side. I normally have all my assets in a company. So in this case here, we have a company's ledger. All right. So as a director here, I accept that asset like that. So in this case here, we want to have a situation where all the land's properties here, they're in some kind of a database. But you see the Ardhi Sasa, you can't call it what? You can't call it a blockchain because it is not really decentralized. There is somebody here on top who is overseeing what is happening there. We would want a situation where this thing is like 100% decentralized. 100% decentralized means that it is being run by the entire community. There's no leadership. Everybody knows who owns what land. When you come in this case to say that this land, for example, the lease ended, we'll tell you no, we can see the lease period is still there. You're a thief. So everybody knows what is happening. Sweden has 100% gotten into blockchain with their land registry, Sweden. And now you see over there when you buy, like right now, I'm buying land through Sasa, but you can still go and pay in cash. No, that's not pure blockchain. Blockchain, ladies and gentlemen, we create what we call smart contracts. Smart. We create what we call the smart contract here. We have what we call smart contracts. So smart contracts are self-executing contracts. These are self-executing contracts. Self-executing contracts. Self-executing contracts. Self-executing contracts. So these self-executing contracts, how do they work? How they work, ladies and gentlemen, they work in a very funny way. I mean, you'll go to like a blockchain and you'll get like, you want to buy land? These are the procedures. You get started, right? So of course, in this case here, once you get started, now you're able to key in. You're able to follow those steps. I want to buy this land from Joshua Aura. All right. And if I want to buy this land from Joshua Aura, what happens? If it is money that I'm going to pay, this money will be held in some kind of a self-closing account. So this account here, which is self-closing, after, of course, like we are done, this account, for example, will be able to pay some 10% to some kind of an agent, some percentage here to a lawyer, like that. So at the moment, in this case here, that account is extinguished, then automatically I'm given my title here. I'm given, so they should be smart contracts. Smart contracts, there will be no theft there. All right. So I mean, there will be an electronic exchange over everything. Money going that way. In this case, I get my ownership there, and the people, of course, in the community are able to see what is happening. What is happening? Of course, in Kenya, they wanted really during Musheru's time. They wanted this blockchain technology, but of course, again, this was really hijacked. This was hijacked. Yeah, I can see in this case here somebody talking about just like in hospitals and the healthcare facilities. In Kenya here, it is not really that much. But if you go to hospitals, like for example, Aga Khan. Nowadays, for example, you go to Aga Khan at the pediatric section, you'll be able to get your token from that machine down there. You get a token. So you're able to see a general physician. So the token will guide you. All right. You go to the lab there. When you go to the lab, of course, you don't carry like physical documents. You simply go there. Those guys will ask, what is your token number? Or what is your name? So in this case, they check. Already the document information is there. All right. So you go back to the hospital, to the doctor. The doctor is able to, interpret it straight. Everything it's blockchain, and there is nobody who can intercept that data. All right. So even when you go, for example, to the pharmacy again, you'll be able to get your data there very, very fast, very, very fast. That is, yes, actually, this is the name that I was looking for. Have I ever done this? It's called an escrow account. Blockchain technology works with these escrow accounts. Yeah, like you can open an escrow account at Equity Bank, So blockchain, they don't want a situation where somebody has the land, made the transfer of the land, and then at the end of the day, you fail to pay. No, they're self-executing contracts, and of course, an escrow account will always close up. Once in this case here, the account is, the contract is self-executed, that account in this case here, elephant card in level 4 hospitals. If you want to know where blockchain works very well, it is in hospitals in Dubai. Dubai hospitals, I can tell you over there, everything is really changed very well. Not like, for example, you go to Nairobi Hospital, you go to, for example, Aga Khan Hospital, they try their best, but you still end up staying there for a very long time, In Dubai, those guys have got, very good systems created. Like what I need to do if I'm in Dubai is simply, first of all, to click here into some account. If I have a personal doctor, book an appointment online. All right. I have my special packet there online. I can even tell this guy that let's first of all, because it's quite kind of an emergency, let's in this case get to even a Zoom meeting. All right. So by the time you're going to hospital, already these guys are, they have already taken your story, etc. So when you go over there, things move very fast. You know, in Dubai, like chemists, it's like, I don't even know what pharmacists will be doing in future. In Dubai, by the time in this case here you reach at the pharmacy section, already that robot is able to say that this is Joshua Urawa's come. I don't know what they do. So that robot will simply come with your drugs, with all the description there. All right. You simply hit the door and that thing is able to say this is Joshua Urawa. So you'll never get queues over there easily. They're using blockchain technology. But now remember Dubai, they have, for example, a Ministry of Artificial Intelligence. And the Ministry of Artificial Intelligence in Dubai was formed in 2017, even before this COVID thing came. Then they were able to foresee, and they're making use of blockchain in a very big way. Remember, like even their vehicles are blockchain. How does it happen? Smart contracts. When you go to Dubai, stay in Dubai for a month or two, when you're coming back here, you feel bad. You see how our systems here, we are backward people. We are a backward country. So like if it's in Dubai, for example, you've knocked somebody's car from behind. What basically those people, they're not policemen on the road. Actually in Dubai, if you call a policeman on the road, of course you can call them, they have numbers. You'll pay $120 for calling a policeman. You pay $120 here for the policeman to come. $120 electronically again. All right. But you see now when you are there and you've knocked somebody's vehicle from behind, what you will do, the two of you, or even one of you, you will simply come, you take 6 photos. One photo, your vehicle. The other photo, this other vehicle. And then there are 4 photos. Now you look at the areas in this case are damaged. So of course, you will take your 4 photos of your vehicle. This damage, like that. Blockchain is a very big thing. That thing in this case here has a judge. It's able to know who is wrong. And over there, insurance works very well. So it's self-executing. So in this case, you will not even stay on the road even for 20 minutes. Even 20 minutes is an exaggeration. Could be even 5 minutes. You've just taken photos. The judge is over there. He says, all those transactions goes to insurance company. There is insurance settlement and everybody goes their way. If it is any towing to be done, it's again electronic. Either your insurance takes over now the matter. All right. So everything there is really, so blockchain is something that I would want you guys to really work on. Here. In this mode, escrow acts as a middleman, yes. So for austerity, let me go through this. For austerity, we don't use escrows only when dealing with digital currencies. It's automatically executed by escrow. You can see Bitcoin, or rather this blockchain has that escrow. So in this mode, escrow acts as what here? Middleman, because you don't want anybody conned. Because we have seen And this is something I've also experienced. Like when I'm buying land, I like buying land in 𝐂𝐨𝐥𝐴. I would want to retire in 𝐂𝐨𝐴 very soon. That's where I would be doing my classes from 100%. All right. So you go and get a very good person in 𝐂𝐨𝐴. Of course, this person was introduced to you by an agent, and they agreed in this case here 10% commission. But when this individual now wants his payment, this guy would want his whole amount, like 10 million. He doesn't want to give the agent nothing. He doesn't even want to hear about lawyers. Or if it's going to to solve those issues, we need what we call escrow accounts. Escrow accounts, you'll simply give, if it's Equity Bank, 10% lawyer, 10% like that. So once that money enters up like that, that money is distributed as per the agreed upon percentages. Great. Thank you so much. So you guys, are you able to follow what I'm discussing really? Are you able to follow our discussions? Are you able to, and I like, I'm getting very good examples. I've always been thinking that most of you are Gen Zs. I'm now getting to understand that some of you are doing very good jobs here. Some of you are doing very good jobs here. Now, some point of research here is iBank in the banking sector, a form of blockchain tech. Most of these banks are using blockchain technology. Of course, they come and blend them up. They blend them up. So like now, look at M-Pesa. You see, M-Pesa, not unless you give out your PIN number. Not unless you give out your PIN number, M-Pesa is very secure compared to most of these banks here. M-Pesa is very secure. It's very, very secure. All right? Because basically they're using this blockchain technology. They're using blockchain technology. So in this case here, I'm able to get money in my electronic wallet. I spend the way I wish, like that. Not unless you are conned to giving your own what here, or somebody in this case here through what we call phishing. Yes, it's very secure. Not unless in this case here you fall into this, it's called phishing. And you see, phishing is very, very common. Where somebody, in this case here, somebody entices you. So somebody comes and tells you that, you know what, I'm coming in this case here from Germany and I'll be bringing this for you. And then somebody reaches a point and then tells you, hey, I've sent you something. You just click there and then you'll see. Once you click like this, these guys now get to your what here, to your electronic wallet. So they're able in this case here to send you malware, right? And that is very, very common. Look at what happened for PwC in the US. An employee in this case here got an email about a promotion from immediate boss. He never cared in this case here to look at whether this was really the real domain of the business, right? You know, those guys form just like that. When that guy click here to confirm, these particular online terrorists were able to get access to PwC's database. They were able to see, in this case here, confidential data belonging to what here? Belonging to their clients, which led to exodus of clients, because now clients straight away, looked at the privacy. Where is data protection? All right. So this phishing is very, very common. Phishing, even if it's, even if it's blockchain. If, for example, there is, it's like how they catch a fish. Although they should have used FI, right? FI, like fish, how they catch it. So they send you something like this. Once you go for that particular bait, you simply swallow the hook, and then they get all your information. They get all your information. And that is why you get people telling you that on Facebook that their accounts have been hacked. No, there is nobody who can hack. Like Facebook uses blockchain. Of course, not 100%, but they use blockchain. Nobody can hack your account. When you see in this case here some pornographic thing, you've seen and you want to see what is inside there, those guys are really phishing you up. So in this case here, they get now into you, and then you start saying that my account has been. There's nothing like being hacked there. They are phishing you. All right. So you need to know these things. Otherwise, those things are very, very secure. Very, very secure. Very, very secure. This person is asking whether it's possible to fish IFMIS and 𝐬𝐳𝐥𝐷 it's curiosity, yes. It's curiosity in this case that we'll be able to get that particular animal from the cage. Curious. Once you start, in this case, you're being curious to know more, you will be surprised. You need, if it's, for example, an email you've gotten from your boss, it's rcmcore.co.ke, please look at the domain. Don't look at just the name and then you start opening. You're being fished, and you can get your company into big problems, And that is why you realize nowadays, many companies are not taking this IT terrorism that easily. Now they have, in this case here, IT managers. They hire what we call ethical hackers. Simply people who are coming to hack the system, but ethically now. So they try, in this case, they're putting firewalls around, and then you bring these experts, these young Gen Z people. You tell them, try your best to hack. You hack this system. You give them like a whole year. They try their best. When they're not able to hack, that is it. If they hack, they are ethical hackers. They tell you have been able to hack. We have hijacked your system, and this is the route we used. Your firewall here is weak. Your firewall here is weak. Please repair your firewalls, and then you keep on. So people are not taking this matter over, because you know it's about data privacy. It's about data privacy. Yeah, some of them are bishops. Now, some account has been kumbe namna hiyo. Yeah, 𝐹𝑚IS, of course, was set as a very good system, blockchain system, but of course, we know 𝐹𝑚IS is not really even serving the purpose. But if it was to be followed like 100%, 𝐹𝑚IS is a powerful tool. I'm telling you, will not be losing money. We'll be able to track down if someone who has ever used this 𝐹𝑚IS, you know, like for example, RCM now is registered, it has an 𝐹𝑚IS number. We'll be able to follow down. I mean, an order was raised. This is the 𝐹𝑚IS number. It would have been very easy and a transparent system if it was to be followed. But you see now these guys would want to make payments outside what here? 𝐹𝑚IS. International disaster. It's basically the African way. How I wish, and our leaders are really traveled. How I wish we had good people who are really willing to serve Kenyans, who are willing to serve Kenyans like 100%. I mean, when you travel outside and then you come back to Kenya, like, you know, there are countries, there is a place I stayed for over a year, and I never had a single vehicle hooting like this. So you come back and then you are getting now these, I mean, horns all over. You even get confused. That is why when at times I look, and I've always told you this, when I look at this thing, the African model, you know, in the Bible, I don't know whether it's in the Quran, in the Bible, there is one man who was cast, and he was cast with all his descendants. I always believe that this man who was cast with all his descendants must have been an African. Because how do we have this kind of, I mean, you know, you can't compare, for example, Kenya to UK, Scotland. You can't compare. I mean, Scotland, in terms of weather, when it's too hot. I mean, we have very good weather. Those Wazungus are very bad. Everything there is bad, including their food. And then here we are joking around. Those guys should be borrowing from us. They should be borrowing from us. What is simply assisting them is the order. They have order, and their level of greediness, of course, they also steal, but their level of greediness is not that high. Because in Scotland, for example, you are staying in an apartment, and then your immediate neighbor is an MP. You're riding a bicycle on the road, your partner here, your colleague, riding a bicycle with you around there is an MP. But in Kenya here, will you ever get even an MCA riding a bicycle with you? An MCA who is doing his second term? No. So in this case here, for us to fight this corruption like 100%, we need to start now coming up with these systems. We need to start coming up with these systems. 𝐹𝑚IS are like QuickBooks, Sage, Tally, and a Pastel. No. 𝐹𝑚IS is an ERP system. It's an ERP system. It's much bigger. It's able to do more than what QuickBooks will do. It has the FICO module, finance and costing module. It has, in this case here, all those modules here, right? Procurement module. It has all, it's like SAP. It's a big thing. But of course, and very costly. But of course, the government does not want to implement it fully for reasons best known to you and me. Yeah, you can see what Hassan is saying there. 𝐹𝑚IS could serve the purpose if it was implemented as per the agreement and policy contracts, and also the chain of command approval matrix well set. If Miss Nibabayao, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. Paul Joseph tells me that that person must have been what year? Must have been harmed. Must have been harmed. Oscar, Kenyans are not blessed. I know Oscar is a pastor, but I can tell you for sure, Kenyans are not blessed. I normally get to know a lot. At times when you get Mwalimu giving, like when I have some money, I'm giving students 300 for, like every week I'll get a call where somebody tells me, Mwalimu, niko na watoto wawili, etc., but I don't know what I'll eat tonight. So as much as we are blessed, I still believe that there are serious problems in the country. Serious problems in the country. And all these are coming because of what, Africans are very greedy. We are very, very greedy. I'm telling you, you'll hear like somebody has stolen like 1 billion shillings. 1 billion shillings. When I'm giving this example, of course, I have to whisper a little bit. This example of Tuju. When you go to Karen at the back, behind of Karen there, we have in this case here where we have KDF. KDF, this Kenya Defense Forces, right? School. There's a school there. Behind there, you'll be able to see Tuju's, a behemoth of a house. Big, like state house. Nice. Lakini mama anawacha yeye, anaenda na kasoja, akana, si kameja, sio meja, sio kano, soja hata sio kopro, soja mwenye ana rank totally, zero rank. That basically tells us, ladies and gentlemen, that these things that we would want to steal, we as accountants, of course, we're involved. All these things are vanity. They are vanity. Well, so long as uko na gari kako, hata kama ni kadude, hata kama ni kadogo, so long as it's able to get you from point A to point B, trust you me, move slowly. Don't get employed today and you want a big problem. No. Follow, in this case, your systems properly. Get to save yourself with time. Unapata mwingine ameiba pesa paka ya HIV AIDS. Na mwenye ana HIV. Unajua kama kuna HIV ni kesi nyingi, ni kesi tofauti. So in this case, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to deal with corruption, we must think about these emerging issues. And we get that question in AFM. One of the ways of dealing with this corruption, of course, look at these emerging areas. If it's borrowing, now don't borrow from these white people. Borrow in this case here from these Arabic nations here, using sukuk bonds. In this case, they try to protect. If it's this money that has been borrowed, let it pass through the blockchain. Let's have a blockchain. Let's have systems here. We should be able to track down this money expenditure, etc. Great. Great. There are 4 here. It's a modest vehicle. Yeah, many. Great. Thank you, Oscar. Great. Yeah, we shall overcome. So great. Ladies and gentlemen, please, when we talk about these cryptocurrencies, at least now you know crypto, of course, cryptocurrencies, these are virtual currencies. They use what we call cryptography. Cryptography now, these are also the systems. Cryptography means what? Like those coding, like the encryptions, like the security features. When it's cryptographic, you can't understand in between if you are to hack. You can't understand. They're encrypted. It's end to end. The sender and the user only can understand the message in between. So I hope that is clear. Then we go to Islamic finance. I'll just speak through Islamic finance, Juju. What do you know about Islamic finance? Number 1, Islamic finance, ladies and gentlemen, we know that interest or riba is haram. Riba is haram. Islamic finance, interest, you can't charge money on top of money. No, you can't charge money for just giving out. No. These people would want you to go and work, sweat out for whatever living you can't just go there and you're saying that now you are a big man, what you call Rabul man like this. And now you are a very rich man, a Rabul man like that, and then now you are giving out just your money to go and work. No. All right, you must be able to know that there are things, ethical things, which are involved here. Number 2, they don't believe in betting. Betting, what they call gharar, is haram. Ukipata Muislamu ana bet, huyo si Muislamu. I'm sorry if you're a Muslim who is betting, lakini Quran nakataa. Hebu niambie ukweli kabisa Hussein. Unajua kuna dhambi, hata sisi tunajua. Great. So I'll come back to that. Great. Yeah, correct. Hakuna betting. Betting hapana kubalika. It's called gharar. Anything that is a very high risk. Muislamu atakwambia hii hatuwekelei pesa sisi. Hataki hiyo. Very true. Hataki hiyo. Please listen and listen to me very well. So then someone will ask, how do we then bring this Muslim finance and yet these guys don't want interest? Then they believe in what we call partnerships. Partnerships. And one of the partnerships that we have, thank you, Hassan is bringing a very good concept there, is what we call musharaka. Musharaka. Tunatumia jina Kiswahili sana, Waislamu tumia Kiswahili sana sababu ya Arab. Arab ni Kiswahili very. So like musharaka ni kushirikiana. So under musharaka, A and B will come together. Both of them will contribute capital. Under musharaka, both of them will contribute capital, and both of them will be involved in running the business. In running of the business, both of them. So they contribute capital. It could be on an equal basis or agreed proportions. They both contribute capital. And then number two, they both run the business. So then what happens? Should they make profits? They share on the agreed proportions. In most cases, it's equal. So they share equally. If they make losses, again, they share equally. Musharaka. And then we have, in this case here, mudaraba. We have mudaraba. Yeah, mudaraba or muduraba. So, for example, ametumia mudu ama mudaraba, one language, the same. So this is another form of great partnership. So we have partner A is the Rabul man. This is the rich man. The rich man. He partners with some other man, we don't call them poor people, but just somebody of small means. But this man of small means has the time and the knowledge of running business. So we have, in this case here, a bullman coming and looking for Joshua Aure. Tells Joshua, now let's start a college, say in Moyale. So I'll be the principal there. And then the Rabulman, of course, is providing capital. Should we make profits, what happens? We share. The group be equally or in an agreed proportion. So if the college makes profits, we share. The rich man and myself, we share the profit. And then remember, Muslim is not about, in this case here, squeezing others. Islam is not about squeezing others. Islam is against squeezing, especially the small man. So in Islam, if, for example, I've tried my very best and with all my honesty and I've made losses, what happens? The losses can only be absorbed by the Rabulman. Muduraba. So kiske muduraba unakumbuka kama Kikuyu mondo. So there must be a rich man involved. So the rich man, if there are losses, this poor man who is running the business will not, because he has nothing. I mean, why would you want to take a poor man even down? Even lower, you can't. Muslim is about uplifting each other. Muslim is about uplifting each other. I grew in military barracks. And I remember when we were young, I used to attend madrasa. It's called madrasa. So I got to know so many things about Islam. Islam is not a bad religion. Nobody should ever teach it. Even Christianity, not a bad religion. All right? Only that Islam unapata mingi sana. I mean, unajaribu kuangalia utu. Hiyo ndio tofauti ya Islam na Christianity. Christianity pia tuko na wachache. Sasa kama sasa unapata, for example, like honestly speaking, the churches. You want to tell me that churches, these high learned pastors, they don't understand what we call money laundering. Money laundering. Because everybody, if you go, for example, what is happening here, it cannot happen in America. You will be jailed. Because in America, if it's somebody who comes to give an offering, you must know your customer, KYC. So you should be able to ask yourself, this guy who is coming to give 2 million shillings every Sunday, I mean, and you know their salary, you should be able to wake up and say, hey, no, you can't bring proceeds of crime if you can't tell us what business you did. You can, I mean, if it's in America, I mean, these things are quite open. You will have to look at even their tax returns. You have to look at their tax returns. I can see what Hassan is putting for us there. I can see what Hassan is putting us there. Yeah, like Musharaka is sharing in Arabic. I'm surprised, Mary. Do you know Arabic? That's very good of an accountant. Let's see what this gentleman has here. Mudraba, the investor. I have to download this. So I can see I've lost about 20 students who have run away. They think that this is not important. They don't know that they'll be asked these things when they go to senior level interviews. I'll download this later. Great. Yeah, like you can see the Rabul Mal there. This is very good, Hassan. Hassan, please continue sending us those things. Continue sending us those things. So under Muduraba or Mudaraba, what have we said? Under Mudaraba, ladies and gentlemen, rich man, call this other guy poor man. So the rich man, remember, rich man does not come to the business. The rich man has just given his capital. And of course, if you make a profit, you'll be able to get what here? You'll be able to get a share, right? And remember, in Muslim, this person who has been mandated to run the business, he'll have to get a salary at the end of every month. Don't tell him that you guys will have to wait until the end of the year. No. They must get a livelihood. They must get a livelihood. They must get a livelihood. Yes, Jerry, I have a handout. Actually, let me just share this handout right now. Let me share this handout for you so I don't have to really be bothered. So we have here. So can I know the classes that have joined me here so that I can share this handout in those classes? Can I know those? Of course, I have AFM evening that I've shared. Do we have some ninjas here from AFM morning class, physical class? Oh, kuna morning class PI. Now you guys should be able to share now this. I've already shared this. Sitaki kwanza kuona mnasumbuka na notes hapana. So we have AFM morning. Kuna paka physical. I'm so happy. Who is this? Anthony. Great. So AFM May physical. I've shared there. Oh, there are also FM students here. Great. So we have here AFM. So everybody should be able to confirm that Mwalimu they have gotten now. So we have here FM morning, May 2024. Everybody should be able to confirm they have gotten. Everyone should be able to confirm they have gotten. Everyone should confirm they have gotten. And we're going to finish this class in the next 5 minutes. We are finishing this class in the next 5 minutes. So nobody should run away really when I'm discussing a very important topic like this. Why are you running away? FM evening, May. So now everybody, evening now I've sent. Evening I've sent. Great. So please get to print it, and if possible, that's a very important document. Yeah, morning God. Thank you so much. Oh, financial wizard, yes. Financial wizard. Who is this Musabi? Who is this Musabi? Who is this Musabi? I know all those students who are in the physical class. I know all of them, but Musabi, I've never heard of Musabi. Is it Steve? Is it Zuma? Is it Dorcas? We shall overcome. At least the physical students, I get to know their names very well. Great. These are the online ninjas. We should be able to create a session where you come physically to see your faces. Great. Thank you so much. So what have we said about Islamic finance? You'll never forget. Have you understood the Musharaka model? Kushirikiana. Have you understood the Musharaka model? Kushirikiana. Then have you understood in this case here? Have you understood in this case here this concept of Rabul Mal? Rabul Mal. Senior person. Mudaraba. Great. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we have what we call ijara. Ijara is a form of financing which is similar to our lease. So ijara is lease financing. Ijara is lease financing. You need to make use of my space. I'll be able to give you my space. And then, of course, you pay what here? You pay like on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, etc. That is the thing about Musharaka being a joint venture. You know, both of them basically they are a form of partnerships, but different dimensions. So under Musharaka, tunashirikiana, we're bringing in capital both of us, and you're running the business both of us. That's Musharaka. Mudaraba is also a form of special partnership. So we have in this case here, the rich man and poor man coming together. The rich man contributes capital 100%. The poor man does not contribute capital. But when it comes to profit sharing, they share profits. When it comes to loss sharing, this poor man never contributed capital. So he should not be given loss to take. He can only be given profit. Losses shall be taken by the rich man. And then now we have the last one here. Ijara is lease financing, where basically we give you our asset, you occupy our asset, and then you'll be giving us something small. Ijara. Monthly rentals or quarterly rentals, that's ijara. Ijara, the spelling is like this. Ijara, the spelling is like this. Yeah, great. Oh, the network is on and off. I don't know. Network is on and off. Is that the experience that everybody's getting? That today's network is on and off? They're clear on my side. Okay, sorry, Paul. You should overcome. Use data bundles. Mine is okay, great. And then now we have what this person is calling murabaha. Muraba moja, muraba. So murabaha is asset-backed financing. Asset-backed financing. So we give you our assets or inventory. It's actually asset/inventory. Asset/inventory backed financing. Asset/inventory. Inventory. Asset-backed financing. All right. So under Murabaha, we give you our asset. Of course, you don't give us any down payment. We give you our inventories, no down payment at all. You go and sell. After you sell, get in this case your money paid to you, of course. Then we send you an invoice on agreed timings. Yeah, thank you very much, Hassan, there for responding. Great. So under murabaha, hiyo nakupa mraba moja. Mraba ni kama kuachia. Na kuachia weenda uza. Ukishauza, ladies and gentlemen, in this case, you come and do what here? You come and pay. And then we have what we call takaful. Takaful. Of course, if you are doing Islamic finance, these guys will always tell you to take some kind of insurance as well. But the insurance will be Islamic-based. So it's called takaful, Islamic-based finance. Islamic-based insurance, based insurance. It's called takaful. Takaful. Yeah. So if you've ever borrowed, like there's a time I borrowed from First Community Bank. It's quite unfortunate that right now it's really down. That bank that reached a time where you cannot even withdraw. You cannot even withdraw 10,000 shillings. They wanted you to be withdrawing from your account. I mean, the bank used to be very good. I remember I used to have some business next to it at Bank of India. I mean, I went there. Those guys were very reasonable. Their model is very good. They don't harass people. Perhaps that is also what has made them to go under. But I know it has gone under because of what your management up there. I know some story there. But otherwise, Islamic finance, Islamic banks are great. They are great. They are great. Now, the other thing you're supposed to know, ladies and gentlemen, you guys may not be knowing. Because when you hear Islam, some of you, ukisikia Islam, unasema kuna gaidi. Gaidi yako kila mahali. Hakuna mahali hakuna gaidi. Hata kwa darasa Biblia kuna gaidi. Unaona? Unaona? Islam, in this case here, most of them work with what here a lot of trust. These guys trust each other. Their level of trust is really way up there. And that is why if you go to Dubai, if somebody has ever been to Dubai, even Saudi Arabia, just here, you can walk with money, even it doesn't matter how many dollars you have, you can even walk with this money on the head, and there is nobody who will come to steal it from you. Nothing. 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 Their level of honesty is really, their level of honesty is really top notch. So when, for example, they are borrowing from each other, maybe Ali and Hassan can tell us, for a Muslim giving another Muslim 10 million without any contract down is very, very, there's a very high probability. That happens every day. That happens every day. Like I have a friend of mine, he's a Muslim, rich man. This man has invested in properties in Isli, he has invested in properties in Kilimani, and this guy does not have any form of, atakwambia hapa nimewekelea milioni 10. Na kila mwezi mimi napatanga, wanaokota pesa wanagawana. So that kind of honesty is what makes this model of theirs emerging. I mean, if I was a scholar today, if I was still doing a lot of research, nowadays I can't do research because of the nature of my work that I have, I would really do some good research on Islamic finance. And I would want to see how we can as well borrow their model, because, ladies and gentlemen, trust you me. Of course, I also appreciate what Hassan was saying. Kwamba hizi makaunti pia za Waislamu, makaunti za Waislamu, iko magaidi. Wanaziiba sana, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, because that is really against Islamic principles. I don't believe, I mean, okay, huwezi hukumu mtu yote, but fellas who are doing like that, those guys will not see doors of heaven. Islam is not like that. Where you get, in this case here, for example, if it's Moyale, I don't know where they have reached 30 kilometers of road, tarmac road, I don't know. And then they're getting 11 billion. They're getting 12 billion. That is very wrong, very wrong. But as I told you, everywhere, in our communities, like unasikia kuna Chinkororo, ingine unasikia kuna Nindi, akukosi gaidi. But in a balance of probabilities, most of these guys are up there in terms of honesty. Nasema ukweli ama uongo. Nasema ukweli ama uongo. Yeah, Islam means peace. Nasema ukweli ama uongo. And I'm not trying to preach to anybody to change it. Never change religion. Like me, I can't change. I can't change. Because if you try changing now, you'll become really confused. But it's a high time, in this case here, you get a few good deeds from here, a few good deeds from the Christians as well. And you blend up something, and then you become better. You become better. You become better. You become better. No, you don't have to be an Islam. Like I've benefited from their banks. You don't have to be an Islam for you to get funding from them. Where are these funds available? Now I think you can try this. There are very many Islamic banks in Kenya. Islamic banks in Kenya. Even like ABSA. Now they'll have an Islam counter. They have an Islamic counter. I'm trying to remember this one that is the biggest. It's just premium, not Premier Bank. Okay, the Premier Bank is Islamic, but there is this, which is the biggest. Like 𝒂𝒂, Gulf, yes. Gulf, yes. Go and try to study their model. Go and try to study their model. Like I remember when I took my first loan from First Community Bank, FCB. I mean, that time I really used to struggle. There weren't students in the market. So those guys, before they auction you, if you get them auctioning you, then you must have really, I mean, gone to the very, very big extremes. For example, they call in the offices, you're not going. They like that kind of conversation. They like that kind of good communication. Unajua kuna wakora. Unajua Kenya, unakuta like 60%, and that's why Oscar anasema Kenya tuko wakora sana. You know, like about 60% of us go to banks borrowing, knowing that we will not pay. Even in this group, I'm so sure there must be a member here who has got Tala that they never paid, who has got Fuliza that they never paid. Even, for example, this one that we call Hustler Fund. You're the guys who are putting Ruto into trouble. Yeah, vetting, of course, must be rigorous. You must be having some security, but you can't compare them to Christian banks. We can't focus. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we disappear, because today we should not be able to sit here for so long. So when I come, yeah, even a Christian, I agree. Few goons who are heartless and ignorant. Now, Oscar, that is where we differ a bit. Christianity, very good. Very good. But I believe there are very few Christians who will truly go to heaven. Very few. Very few. Out of Kenya, most of these Christian countries nowadays, things are not performing. So don't get me wrong, Oscar. I'm telling you from now a point of experience, Oscar. We have a big problem, Oscar. Please, Oscar, as a pastor, don't accept money from politicians. If you accept, please look at what we call KYC. Know your customers. Know, in this case here, the people who are participating. I mean, what are the sources of income, etc. Don't just accept, no. Yeah, matching, yes. No. Hassan, not all pastors are called. Please, that is stereotyping. Stereotyping is not very good. We still have very good. Hassan should withdraw that statement. Hassan, you should withdraw that statement and apologize. We have good people still who are what here? Christians. Who are Christians. Don't stereotype. Don't say all of them. No. We shall overcome. I don't invite them for any fundraising. Thank you so much. They will see heaven. That's okay. Yeah. If you're Christ-like, they will be able to see heaven. So, then, gentlemen, we have come in, or rather, before I disappear, can you kindly give me 3 reasons why Islamic finance is growing in Kenya? 3 reasons why Islamic finance is growing in Kenya. 3 reasons why Islamic finance is really growing in Kenya. Why some of us, like we are Christians, why are we borrowing? Transparency. I like the transparency aspect. Transparency, I like that. Affordability, you'll be surprised, it may not be that affordable. It may end up even being, because they'll take a percentage of a profit. They take a percentage of a profit. The only thing that you can talk about in terms of affordability is that there is shared risk. When you make losses, you don't give them anything. They understand. So long as you are a straight, forward-thinking Kenyan who has borrowed from them, they really understand. All right? Integrity, I like that. Michael, interest is not charged. They take a share of profit. Fairness. Islam is about peace. Islam is about fairness. Promotion of ethical and responsible financing, yes. Thank you very much. Why, in this case here, this Islamic finance will get like ABSA, having in this case Islamic products, having Equity Bank, for example, having even insurance products that are Islamic-based, it's because the Muslim population in this country is also growing. The Muslim population is growing. Thanks, Dixon, information availability. Now we have information. These guys are putting up very good websites. Mwenye anataka security umbrella, huyu nani? Wewe sijasikia bado Hassan. I'm not getting that joke, Hassan. I would really wish to get the joke. Principles that resonate well with sustainable development. Most of these loans we get from capitalistic banks are not sustainable. They end up, in this case here, eating up the people they loan the money. They end up eating up the clients. I'm telling you, like Kenya Women Finance Trust. Is there anybody who has ever taken money from KWFT and some other microfinance institutions outside here? You give them your vehicle, that is a sure bet that your vehicle is going. Those guys will push you, pay. Once you're paid over 50%, they take your entire vehicle. They take your assets like that. So they end up, in this case here, predating. They end up, in this case here, swallowing their clients. Islamic finance looks like that. Islamic finance, they talk about sustainability. They're doing this out of a good heart, out of a clean heart. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, give this Islam another 10 years from today. Governor Nairobi will be an Islam member. Most of these guys now, apart from Chinese who are defeating them in this like Limani, Chinese are able to do very, very high-rise buildings. But even these guys are, following up. Some of them will tell you, like Hassan will tell you, it's proceeds of crime from wherever, but I'm telling you, some of those properties are built by, like I told you, I have a friend, a hard-working friend who is basically selling meat. They buy meat, they export, they're doing many things. Simply because of those partnerships that I mentioned here, those guys are able to do wonderful things. Wonderful things. Because of what here, these finance models that you're talking about here, because of how they trust each other, because of the concept of them, like, for example, staying too many of them in the same house. Like an Islam, just like an Indian, you'll get like, I'm staying with my father. When I marry, I don't have to run away, especially the Indians. So you get like, they save a lot. You'll get like one house, for example, these guys are sleeping. They save a lot. Some of us, in this case, we don't love each other. So nakuta umeoa tu hata mjapata watoto, umefukuza ndugu zako wote namna hii, inakuwa disaster. So you don't grow together as a family. You don't grow together as a family. These are the kind of good things that we need to do, to borrow. We need to borrow. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I can see very good points there. Yeah, most of them are really united, yes. Selflessness, character traits. They're united as a community, not even as Islam, united as a community. And then, of course, this thing of zakah, they believe in zakah, giving to the poor. That's why ukienda kwa kanisa, ni ngumu upate maskini kwa mlango hapo nje. Lakini ukienda kwa any mosque, utapata maskini wengi, na maskini wengi hapo ni faith zote. Na wanawasaidia. Because kuna ile ambao wanapeana kwa mosque, na kuna ile ambao ni mandatory apewe kwa maskini, wanapeana zaka. Actually, it's one of the pillars of what here, sadaka kwao, sadaka to the poor, is one of the pillars of Islam. One of the pillars of Islam. Islam has got like those pillars, pillars. All right? So one of the pillars, they auction even biological assets like cows, okay? So they understand here? Yeah, they have 5 pillars, yes. Thank you very much. No, there's somebody who's not getting this. This guy who is direct messaging me around here telling Mwalimu is like, you're preaching Islam. No. It's a topic in finance. Am I the one who put this topic in your syllabus? Am I the one who put that topic in your syllabus? It's a topic. I'm teaching you finance. I'm telling you what is there. I'm not telling you to convert you. You're not a good ninja. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Be blessed when we come in our next subsequent class. We shall be looking at behavioral finance, and I'll be able to invite all of you. Great. Cheers then. Bye and bye. Bye.